for our athletic director, Miss Amanda Hazley, who I will introduce momentarily. But before I do that, I'm going to share my screen and welcome all of you to our Intra-Team Relations presented by the Office of Diversity and Equity. I, of course, am John Strong, your Diversity and Equity Officer. And I would like to take care of a little bit of housekeeping first. If you look at the screen, you can identify exactly how to change your name if you are not already familiar with how to do that. All I'm going to do for myself is I'm going to click on my triple menu. I'm going to click rename, and I'm going to type in how I would like to be referred to and who I am representing. And that will show up on my screen. And so I would ask that everybody else do the exact same thing. Ready, set, go.
Well,
those of you that are driving, typing and driving is a poor choice. Please try to do so when you get a stop sign or a stoplight of some kind, and you're better able to do that. For those of you that are having challenges seeing how to do this, if you go down, Dante, don't forget to type in who you're representing, in other words, which team. If you go down into your participant space in the bottom of your screen on your cell phone, you can click that participants area. And once you go into the participants area, you can click your name, and it will give you the opportunity to rename yourself. I saw one carload full of baseball players, and I'm hoping that all of those names are represented on that screen so that we know who's in the car with you there, Will. And oh, we got a question from the chat. Great, Matthew. Can you please type that in your name and not on the chat?
Hey, Matthew.
Thanks, yeah. Brother. So like, I'm supposed to type that in the chat or like?
No. So you see where your name is?
Oh, my bad.
That's okay. Gonna be long. Instructions are right there on the screen. Any additional questions? Nah? All right.
Do we have to write something in the chat?
No, you don't have to write anything in the chat.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
That's okay.
Do we have to rename ourselves?
I would love for you to rename yourself, Coach. That way everybody can address you appropriately while we're here together. We're going to be in rooms with one another, and it's a lot easier if I can look at your name and identify exactly how to address you. So that's the purpose of that.
Okay.
So with that done, I'm going to turn things over to your athletic director, Miss Amanda Hazley. Stop sharing my screen.
Hi, guys. Okay, so we're up to 122. That's awesome. Just a quick thank you to everyone for joining us today. This is the first time our athletic department is doing this type of training, and I'll talk about it in a minute. But I just wanted to say it is going to be interactive. Let's try and do the best we can. We do have our secretary on the line taking attendance for us. We have some athletes that have already let me know that they can't make it today. And then we have a couple others that are in the cars or on the same screen, so we might miss them. The first day of practices, everyone's going to be required to sign a declaration that they viewed this training either today in person or like Strong mentioned, he's recording it. So we're going to link it to our YouTube page so the others will have a chance to view it. But everyone's going to be responsible for the information that is being discussed today. So you will sign something on the first day of practice stating you went through the training. So if we missed you in the attendance today, we will get you on that first day of practice. In talking with John, we really think this training is important for a couple of reasons. We're a dynamic group. Our teams are dynamic, our coaching staff's dynamic, and this training is really going to help us to have a better understanding, be able to communicate with our teammates, have some empathy for our teammates, and just learn how to listen to them. So I'm really excited for everything John has in store. If you have questions, you can always contact myself or John after the training. We'd be happy to talk more in depth with you, but get the most out of what he's got for us today, because it is worth our while.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction. So just a little history connected to what we're up to today. I want to show you the FCC recently came out with a statement, and I wanted to quickly summarize it for you. It's right here on the screen, and you can read it on your own. We believe, as a collective of community colleges, it's necessary to maintain and cultivate a healthy, productive learning environment and exercise the freedoms aforementioned: freedom of fear, intimidation, which is a basic human right. Go ahead, read the rest of it. The point being this: some of you have been exposed to Title IX training. Title IX obviously has the implications related to sexual harassment, sexual misconduct. But very few of you have been exposed to Title VI training. Title VI training springs from the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and espouses much of what you read here on the screen. The good news is that we've got the opportunity to do that today. The great news is that there's more to Title VI training than what's written into law or what's written on the page. Title VI training, as I see it, as I view it, and as some of my peers view it, is about you as individuals. And so what we're going to go through today is an opportunity for us to get together and try to see each other as valuable members of a team and our Intra-Team society. To do that, we've got to be clear. We're not always clear in every moment of every day. I'm looking at our screen here. I'm looking at different participants. Can you raise your hand if you've heard of the practice of mindfulness? Mindfulness? Okay, I see some hands up, not that many. Allow me to elaborate. Mindfulness generally is the idea that throughout every moment of the day, I want to be present for as many of them as possible. What does the lack of mindfulness look like? Just to give you a little dose. When you are in your car and somebody is trying to get in your lane and they speed up and you speed up and they slow down and you slow down, you are acting in a way that is in direct conflict with somebody else. It is not necessarily in the nature of who you are, but you get caught up in the moment. Getting caught up in the moment very often leads to action which don't actually tell others the nature of our character, but rather place us in a moment when probably if we were thinking straight, we would have made a different choice. So what we're going to do is put both of our feet on the floor if we can, relax both of our shoulders if we can, and we're going to take a moment to breathe intentionally. You certainly don't have to close your eyes. That's not a requirement at all. But I'd like very much for you to intentionally breathe in and breathe out. And as you breathe in, I would like for you to intentionally breathe in those parts of the day, those parts of the moment that you can infuse with positivity. And as you breathe out, I want you to breathe out those parts of the day, those parts of the moment, which would betray your negativity. one more time as we breathe in. I want you to intentionally breathe in the idea of patience. I want you to intentionally breathe in the idea of connection. As you breathe out, I want you to intentionally breathe out the idea of anger and the idea of persecution. One more cleansing breath in. Relax your shoulders. And breathe out. Let's be here together. So the next instruction is that I want to meet some of the folks that we're sitting with. We're going to do that in a very simple manner. I've got some breakout rooms assigned for us. Since there are just more than 125 people here, I'm going to assign 25 breakout rooms and populate them automatically. 4 of those are going to have 6 people in them. The rest of them are going to have 5. And what I'd like for you to do is, in a moment, I'm going to click the button and you're going to have the ability to hop into that breakout room. When you go into that breakout room, here is your only task. Identify in what ways are the members of your room similar. If you can think of one way in the time allotted, then that's fine. You only thought of one, that's okay. But if you can think of more than one, that's even better. Since you're athletes and you love to compete, maybe you could think of a whole bunch. I see Coach Klingersmith brought a friend. I'd love to see it. So all your rooms are open. I am broadcasting this message into all of your rooms so that you can remember it. And ready, set, go. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to get to our timer. And I am going to click our timer now. There goes. And I'm going to ask that those of you that are left hop into your rooms if you are able to. Sherry, I will definitely exclude you. Thank you for reminding me. Room 2, I've got a spot. And let's see. Room 8, I've got a spot. And looks like room 11. And let's put these last 2 here and here. Minimize that.
So I didn't know if you wanted us to type answers like on a chat or we're supposed to.
Yeah, I don't know instructions. Like, are we gonna talk about it or something? I don't know.
It was strong.
All right. So Sherry, it looks like it's us and a couple other people.
Strong.
Yeah.
What's the name? I had to back out the breakout room because they couldn't hear me. So I had to do something in my settings on my iPhone. So I had to leave the breakout room.
Do you remember which breakout room you were in?
10.
10?
Yeah.
You are back assigned to 10.
Do we have
Thanks.
to go in the breakout room?
Yes, please.
Okay. Is that like other specific rooms for soccer or basketball players, or what is that?
No, we're mixing it up. We like it mixed up.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Hi, Sherry.
So what do you have them doing there?
Recording back on. Then we're going to meet everybody and see how we did.
I just got one question.
Sure.
Oh, I didn't know my number. Oh, snap, they can hear me.
How long is this Zoom meeting?
Yo, Kai.
The Zoom meeting is going to
2
go
hours.
till
Hold
about
on, bro. Hold on, bro. I'm trying to get my question.
Group 21 barely found anything, man.
Yo, hold on. How long is this Zoom meeting?
I'm in the meeting with everyone now.
2 hours.
2 hours, man.
2 hours.
Another one? Hours.
Yo, Alan, mute your mic,
It's
Alan.
muted now, bro.
Fuck being the mic.
2 hours.
Hey,
Why can I hear the? Oh, you went back?
How we gonna stay in the Zoom with each other for 2 hours?
hey, what up?
Cardin's got a mole. Hey.
Cardin's, man, because mine's better.
All right. So we're back. And we have the opportunity to share, which is great. Sounds like people are feeling a little more boisterous, which is also great. Let me hear some of the ways that we are similar to the people in our groups.
Oh, you can go.
I was in group 21, and we didn't really have much in common. We were from like different areas, but what we found out was we were all from New York State.
Wow, that was a broad one. We got any more?
421.
We limited that to Western New York.
Yeah.
Woo! Can anybody beat Western New York?
We're all football fans.
I'm good. I
We
need
all like the
Rams. You got
Bills.
Rams?
We had
Yeah.
in our group in 19 that was from the Caribbean.
We had what in the 19?
Group 19 had a kid, Darrell, we met, who is here for his first semester from the Caribbean.
How is that similar?
You guys all from
It
Caribbean?
is not, actually. It was surprising.
It was
We
just
found
a
out
fun
that we all
fact.
don't like the snow.
Attaboy, Pete.
We don't like the snow. We don't like being cold.
Certainly not anybody from the Caribbean. Absolutely. What else we got?
Okay, I got a good one.
Come on.
In ours, we all like carrots.
I also like it.
My group all had a similar music taste.
What was that?
We all like hip hop and R&B.
I also like hip hop and R&B. This is going well.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Anybody else?
Group
Yeah.
16. Group
Okay,
16.
so like my group. Oh,
No, you got it.
my group. We're
got the
we're
mic.
all from New York, and we all play sports, but we play different sports, and yeah,
All right.
we're all from New York. That's the similarity.
I'm not from New York, so that's dissimilar right there. So I wouldn't have fit in your room. I'm from Toronto.
Oh wow.
There you go.
Yes, sir. The 6.
I got one for group 10.
Okay, group 10, hit it up.
We all like bowling, and we prefer Moe's over Chipotle.
Deep. The Moe's over Chipotle debate continues. I got
Good
you.
stuff,
All
right?
right. I'm gonna have to ponder that one for a little bit. Moe's over Chipotle. Coach Klingersmith, what was your answer?
Group 16, we all play at N-Trip and wear the same colors, and we all hate to lose.
Okay. We all hate to lose. All right. Well, tell you what, that's gonna be what it's gonna be. Everybody got to lose sometime. Was there any other rooms that wanted to share some awesomeness from their interactions before we move on?
I mean, our group was very quiet, I would like to say, but the one thing we could all relate to, like every group could relate to, is we're all determined athletes who want to play. Okay,
I feel that. I want to play. I don't know if I'm a determined athlete, but I definitely want to play. That's for sure.
Me myself.
So what we derive from this session is we get this opportunity to go, you know what? If I think hard enough about it, there is some thread of similarity between me and virtually everybody that walks this earth. Now you have a choice, obviously. You can seek to see that which is similar, or you can seek to see that which is dissimilar. The choice is yours. Can nobody make it for you but yourself?
And it's like a heart.
And it's like a heart? Explain.
Yeah.
Nothing additional? So on our first welcome slide, I asked that this be a brave space. A safe space and a brave space are two separate things. Maybe you've entered a session like this before and they asked you to make it a safe space, meaning that I'm going to share my truth and you will not judge me on that truth and you will not tell other people the truth that I have shared in our safe space together. But in a brave space, in addition to those things, we're also going to add your compulsion to share your truth. Because many times what happens in a safe space is we stay quiet, we observe, we listen closely and actively, but we don't give of ourselves. In a brave space, we try to do just that. We try to focus in on the task at hand, like the similar activity we just participated in. And we try and share because we're not really as strong when all the members of the team don't participate. Anna from volleyball shared that she's got a bunch of athletes in her group that want to participate, that want to do better. That want to that you put on the court, I want you to save a little bit of that want to for this session. Can I get a thumbs up on that one? All right, appreciate you. So with regards to this idea of why, what is our goal here? The idea when it comes to cultural sensitivity training springs up in a site online, jub.com, identifies the fact that these trainings help individuals be more sensitive and accepting of each other's existing diversity, which leads to better understanding among team members. 20 years ago, when I started being involved with these trainings, they used the word tolerate. I'm not going to use that word. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate the connotation of tolerate. Tolerate identifies the fact that I'm doing something right, you're doing something wrong, and I have to tolerate what it is that you're doing wrong. And that's not what's happening. We are all here. We all have a right to be here. And we are going to be accepting and celebrating of the differences that we enjoy. Item number 2, educates team members about constructive behaviors by correcting behaviors and emotional actions and reactions. Emotional actions and reactions stem from you not being centered and you not being mindful, ultimately you not being here. If you can keep yourself centered and mindful more often, these emotional actions and reactions will diminish in number and severity. Item number 3, coaches are able to gain insight into their own behavior, as well as understand who players are as people, helping them thrive in a team setting. I know the coaches here at our school, and I know that they care about their players. That's what makes them great coaches, And frankly, that's what makes us have great teams. I'm hoping that those of you who are new to NCCC's environment are learning that about your coaches. And I'm hoping that those of you who have been here for at least a year already know that about your coaches, and you're not hearing anything new from me. Okay. Item number 4, also build strong interpersonal relationships amongst team members. If your players respect each other's feelings, they will likelier be happy and more productive. You can be your best. You can practice at your best. You can play at your best when you are most comfortable. If you are uncomfortable because of the team members around you and how you feel in that situation, you will not play at your best. And that's what all of your teammates and your coaches want for you. And that's certainly what we want for you. And so this session gives you an opportunity to be at your best by relating more easily, more fluidly with those around you. Okay. Finally, it raises awareness among coaches and players and helps to create a team space free of discrimination and harassment. This is important to recognize because many times we are not aware that we may be perpetuating an environment of harassment. And the easiest way for us to know is to communicate and be mindful and available from moment to moment. And if we hear even the inclination that something isn't right, we ought not be a silent witness, but rather take exception to those situations and identify for folks around us, hey, I'm not sure if what's going on is appropriate. I'd love to discuss it further. I'm not asking you to put your hands on anybody. I'm not asking you to raise your voice. I'm simply asking you to put your hand up and say, this isn't going to happen while I'm around. Okay? Be an ally to those people around you. So in the spirit of this, we're going to practice the idea of being present and being mindful. And we're going to do so by participating in an activity that is going to allow all of you to go back into your rooms. I'm just going to let you click that button again, and you'll go back into your rooms. And we're going to have a speaker every minute, okay? Every minute, we're going to have a new speaker that is going to speak on, or excuse me, every 5 minutes, we're going to have a new speaker that's going to speak on this one same item. And the item is this. When have you ever felt outgrouped? Let me define for you what an outgroup is. I am looking at my main screen, and on my main screen, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people of the 25 people on my main screen that do not have their cameras up. So I've got an in group of 19 people with their cameras up, and I've got an out group of six people that don't have their cameras up. There's no reason for you to feel bad about having your camera off, but you have your camera off. I have the ability as somebody in the in group with my camera on to say, hey, you got your camera off. What's the matter with you? Turn your damn camera on. It's an easy thing to do. And now all of a sudden I've taken my privilege as a cameras on person and tried to make you feel bad about being outgrouped in your camera off self. That's not a really cool thing to do. You follow me? Okay. So in that example, what all of you have done a wonderful job of is listening. And now I'm going to ask our athletic director, Amanda Hazley, while I was describing this out-group setting, the instructions here say, take a moment to consider how out-groupers may have felt in this explanation. Think about it. Think about it for a second, Amanda, and think, if you were an out-grouper in this explanation, how would you feel? And try to bring those thoughts into words. How do you think somebody would feel as an out-grouper?
The two things that first come to mind, the first one would be uncomfortable, and the second one would be defensive. I think, everyone would start scrambling. Oh, I don't have my camera on because it's not working. Or I don't have my camera on because I'm at work. Or I don't have my camera on because I didn't shower today. I think, uncomfortable and defensive would be the first two come to mind.
That makes plenty of sense. Now you'll notice my explanation took about a minute. Amanda's took closer to 30 seconds. That's okay. The next person to speak would have the opportunity to use up their 60 seconds in addition to Amanda's 30 seconds that she left over. Because ultimately what we want to do is create a picture that we have verbalized in our space together that identifies potentially how this outgroup population might feel. This is the heart of empathy. The heart of empathy lands you in a space where we can be far more successful in navigating the relationships with the people that we are in direct communication with. So once everybody in our room identifies how you think that you might feel during this episode, I want the other people that have spoken to get a response from the speaker. Now the speaker is going to say, the speaker said what they believe could have improved the situation. So I'm the speaker in this setting, and I would respond to Amanda by saying, listen, I'm able to turn my camera on, and I appreciate that different people have, different situations that they're currently in. Some people are at work. I saw somebody had to get an MRI, and it didn't occur to me previously that maybe that's why they have their cameras on. Thank you very much for sharing how they might have felt, and I think we can overcome, me making them feel bad or uncomfortable by me potentially not being quite so judgmental in my speech when I'm addressing those cameras off people. On the heels of that, the listeners can reflect on my response. And one more round of feedback. Do you think, Amanda, there's anything else that I could potentially do to make this dichotomy of camera on people and camera off people better?
Constant reminders, asking in a different way. Yeah, those two things.
Okay. So going forward, that's what I'm going to attempt with these cameras off people, and I'm hoping I can improve my relationship with these camera off people. Camera off people, you know what? I'm glad you're here. Even though your camera's off, I'm just glad you made it. All right. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
Are there any questions about how to proceed into these breakout rooms? All right. One more time, I want you to look over at the sheet that is on the screen. I want you to check out the directions. And I want you to make sure that you understand how we're going to proceed. All right, so we've got main speaker, round of listener feedback, main speaker response, listener feedback improvement, new main speaker, and we will rotate that for the next 50 minutes. If you have a question, go ahead and click the question button at the bottom of your screen that says ask a question, and I will head over to your room and see if I can help you out. Is that cool? Thumbs up?
Have to drag.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Let's head back into those breakout rooms. Ready, set, go. Here's my timer.
It's not giving me an option to go into the room.
I don't have it.
Yeah, neither do I. Yeah,
What do we do?
Yeah, neither do we.
I don't know what's going
I'll
on.
have it.
There she goes.
I dragged it.
We got you. We got you.
I basically just
Mind you didn't
the warehouse. We ship to stores.
We got you. Room 6 needs 3 people. All right. Room 6. Room 6. Chuck, you get to go into room 6.
Hey.
And let's see, room 1 needs 2 people. Room 1. And room 1. And what else we got? We got room 9 needs a person. Room 13, 14, 15. That should be everybody. Room 9. Whoops. Room 14. Room 15. Room 14. And that's all good. Oh. Georgia, did you have a room that you were in?
What?
Do you know
I
what
don't
room,
even.
do you know
I
what
don't
room
even.
you were in?
What do you mean?
All right, I'm going to send you to room 15. Please click on the button and your teammates will help you figure out what you're doing. All right. Austin and Tahil. Oh, Austin, you there? See, a lot of people came back early. That's all right. We're gonna chop up what went down. I gotta close up the breakout rooms. There's a few people that are doing their last shares, which is great. It's all I feel way better about it when I gotta come back and I gotta force people out of the breakout room, because that means, you know, hopefully they're dealing with some dynamic issues. And that's the point. We don't want it to just be a hangout. We don't want it to be, you know, it's meaningless. We want it to be.
I accidentally laughed.
We want to be talking about things that really matter. And you know, that's the whole point.
Are you playing Uno?
So as we come back, as we come back and we head into this space, I want us to remain mindful of one another. I've got Noah, thanks for letting us know. I appreciate the chat. Thanks for coming. I want us to remain mindful of the fact that we've asked all of the folks that we're with to be open, to be brave. And for those of you that sat and were comfortable with that, thank you. For those of you that sat and shared part of yourselves, thank you. I mean that. You've found the ability to make NCCC a better place. I'd like to hear some shares, if you wouldn't mind. I'm going to share my screen to prompt some questions. You can read it yourself. It says, just reflect for a second, and anybody is open to share their mic and let us know when you're talking to other people in any setting, whether it's at your home or when you're hanging out or when you're in the team setting. Is this how you usually listen to somebody else?
I'd say yeah.
Yeah, you're a good active listener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty empathetic towards people, and I try to relate.
Fantastic.
Same.
All right, I'm glad.
Yeah, I was. Oh.
No, I heard you with your yeses.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, like, since no one else is gonna talk, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure I would say everybody should say yeah at least because we're on a basketball team or something. So I mean, not a basketball team. We're all on a athlete. I can't even fucking. Excuse me. I'm sorry, but we're all on a team, so we should be able to active listen to someone that's on our team. Yeah, okay, I messed up for this.
You're good. You did just fine. Should and do are two very different things. Two very different things. What we should do and what we do are not always the same thing. Should we all active listen? Yeah, we should. For some of you, this was an opportunity to do it potentially for the first time. And hopefully what you heard was something new. How did it feel to listen like this? Let somebody speak. They've got all their time to speak. They don't have to hurry because there's a time limit. How does it feel to just let somebody speak?
I think it feels good. I think being able to listen to somebody you don't know, I feel like a lot of people had a difficult time in those groups when you should have an extremely easy time in those groups. You should be able to want to learn from others that you don't know, from backgrounds you don't know where they came from, and getting to know that can go so far for somebody's development.
That makes a lot of sense. I wholeheartedly agree. I wholeheartedly agree. That's great stuff. Two phones are on in the same environment, and one of those should be muted, and the speaker on the other one should be turned off, so that we can ditch the echo. Thank you. There it is. So the issue that comes up next is, how did you feel as the speaker? I put some pressure on you, didn't I? I said, you got to speak now. Now it's your turn. And sometimes in a new setting with these new people, that's tough to do. How did it feel as the speaker?
I can say, like, for myself, it was, I don't want to say natural, because, like, obviously as a coach, you're used to speaking in front of people. So, like, as the coach, I felt like if I led and kind of broke the ice, other people would follow. And it kind of worked that way because, like, in my group, I don't know what number we were, but then everybody took their time to share. And it felt pretty comfortable. And so I was happy with the results that we got in my group.
I'm thrilled to hear that.
Thank you, Seppi. Thank you.
Anybody feel so comfortable?
I think that it's easy for us to talk, but I think it's also good for them to hear that we go through the same stuff that they do, even as adults. Like, there are still times that we're left out. There's still times that we don't feel like we're confident in what we're doing, and they need to know, everyone needs to know that it's okay to be like that.
Part of life.
As a speaker, it felt good to see, like, to be in a group where they listened and just responding, and it kind of showed that, okay, you're listening. And I just feel like being a listener is just not because you have to, it's just due to respect. Like, someone speaking, you listen.
That's a great point. Respect isn't always given, is it?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said respect isn't always given, is it?
No.
Unfortunately. Any other reflections on the speaker?
Yeah, I think for me, being a speaker is pretty cool in Group 21 because I'm actually in like a different dynamic than everybody else that I was in my group with, which made it a lot less nerve-wracking, which made it pretty cool. And I could give them some insight on things that I see and the way I go about day to day, coming up here, going back home and things like that, give them a little bit of insight that actually, for me, it's actually real cool. And to see their reactions, I was very interested in how they were actively listening and their reactions and their opinions on some of the things I had said.
That's great. That sounds super positive. Anything else before I move on?
Our group in group 20, what we did a lot was, and I don't do this when I listen, so I really liked and learned from this, is trying to think of the other person in the situation and what they could have been feeling. And we talked a lot and reflected a lot about how a lot of it is just how we're perceiving it, and it's not necessarily how the other person involved in the situation was. And I don't think I do that when I listen. I don't try and think of like the other side of it, or maybe it's not what you're thinking. So it was definitely cool to hear some reflection from my group in that.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Anything else?
I get what Amanda's saying, because with like group 21, we all told our parts of the stories, and we kind of all just reflected on us. Like, yeah, we've been through this. Yeah, like I know what you mean. Like that type of conversation is what we had.
Alexa, turn off.
That makes me feel good, because it sounds like you felt heard. One of the most important things in any team setting is that everybody feels like they have a voice. Everybody in a typical North American media setting identifies the stars of the team as the team, when in fact, those of us who are part of teams recognize the fact that everybody is part of the team. You're not getting that star power if you don't have support, and that support should draw respect, and that respect should afford everybody on that team a voice. And so I'm really glad that you felt heard. That's great. So can you see that it is much easier to communicate and facilitate conversation in this fashion?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So when you look at this idea of a mindful setting,
Oh shit.
I want you to remember going forward when you're with your teams, I want you to really work on the fact that it is possible for you to hear and be heard, okay? And in doing so, you will end up more mindful with one another, and therein be more empathetic to one another. You will have diminished emotional reactions or actions and reactions, and that matters. You will be more prone to understanding one another and less prone to falling into misunderstanding. So many times in our day-to-day, you say something and somebody is in a mindset where something else is going on with the rest of their life. When their focus turns to you and they hear what you have to say, they project their lives onto you, and now we have a conflict. Why? Because they didn't actually hear you, right? You're going to be more prone to stronger interpersonal relationships with one another, with your coaches. Team cohesion in that setting will be optimized. And if you find that this is not the case, remember the old adage that one finger pointed at somebody else is three pointed towards yourself. And take a look at yourself. Take a look at who you are when you enter your team setting. Are you open? Are you honest? Are you reflective? If not, it takes one simple flip of the switch before you enter that team setting of you saying, you know what? I'm going to be better today. I've got better inside of me, and I'm going to be better today. Finally, you're less likely to discriminate and outgroup other members of the community, because as we heard today, we all know what that feels like. And we can all agree that it feels kind of not so great. If we all have that experience, then we can default to that experience and recognize the import of allowing people to be who they are, respecting them and celebrating for who they are. Wouldn't the world be boring if we were all the same damn person? So finally, there is an open space in any setting, any field, any gym, when you allow. All right? When you open your arms up and embrace, that open space can be yours to enjoy. The choice, of course, is always yours. In closing, I want to remind you of Title VI by the book. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits discrimination based on race, color, national origin, and programs or activities within which we receive federal assistance, which we do for all of our sports here at Intra-Team. And so you are governed by Title VI. But I don't want you to participate in the benefits of Title VI because it says so in a book, or because it says so in a mandate or a policy or a procedure. I would like very much for you to benefit from what our forefathers have seen to be fit, simply by recognizing it makes us better people. Take care of one another, and our campus will be a stronger place. Take up for one another. Take on the cause for one another, and your teams will be harder to beat. Big thumbs up, go Thunderwolves. I'm going to grab this link, if you all don't mind, and I'm going to throw it into the chat. If you would be so kind as to hop on the link and go to the Google Doc that you find there and answer the questions based on the link, I would really appreciate that. It's going to give me feedback and data to make these trainings better for the people that come after you. After all, in a fantastic world, wouldn't you like to make the world better for the next generation to follow? Thumbs up.
Is it mandatory?
No, it's not mandatory, but I appreciate you asking.
Thank you.
I got you right now, big bro. I got you.
I appreciate you.
You know the vibes.
This is my email address. If anybody ever needs to reach out and share anything with me, chop it up, let me know. I'm around. Love to hear from you. The biggest takeaway from today is that, you know, we said what's similar at the beginning. We're all Thunderwolves, right? We're all trying to get better.
Oh, Thunderwolves.
Thank you, Mar. Anything to share with your fellow Thunderwolves before we go?
They mad cool, yo.
Okay.
Laughing on the camera, so freaking professional.
All right.
Do we have to do anything to leave this? Bye,
No,
guys.
you don't have to do anything except sign the statement that Amanda Hazley identified at the beginning of our presentation. So make sure you sign that when the season starts. Okay, y'all?
Yeah. Ask for the phone to do that.
Be safe.
All right, thanks
Thank
everyone.
you.
A big round of applause for John Strong.
Yeah, go Thunderwolves!
We should do this more often. It's lit.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Take care. Great sitting with you.
Yeah, it was lit.
I enjoyed it.
I ain't leaving till everybody going.
John, can you email me over this link for the recording?
Yes.